The Void Lord's Path to Planar Conquest Chapter 4, on the beginning of plane occupation. After Sartre placed the void mark on Tessis, he transmitted a burst of energy through the mark. I saw that Tessis' energy was constantly improving, and he had been raising Tessis' strength to the peak of the Great Spirit. I saw the intoxication on Tessie's face, this kind of power flowing in the body, constantly filling, the feeling of the improved strength is too beautiful. But then he got stuck at the peak of the Great Spirit, and the energy stopped instilling. This kind of feeling is like the passionate men and women suddenly stopped their movements when they were about to reach the peak. It made people feel an indescribable, uncomfortable feeling. Although it was uncomfortable, Tessis did not dare to complain. He knew that he had to prove his ability next. Only in this way could Sartre continue to improve his strength. Otherwise, it is estimated that it will be difficult to advance for 100 years by relying on these believers of Tessis. After all, the number of his followers was not large, and this time, Sartre destroyed a village. Okay, Tessis, how many believers do you have? Sartre said to the depressed Tessis. Your Majesty, there are only 3 villages left for my followers. There are about 600 people. I am the most powerful spirit around here, Tessis said with some pride. There are thousands of gods who believe in gods in this world, and most of them are at the beginning level. Many believers in God have only a few dozen or hundreds of believers. With 600 followers, Tessis is indeed relatively strong. Tessis is in the northernmost part of the plain. There are few resources here, and the land is vast and sparsely populated. It is called the Northern Wilderness. There is only one demigod-level believer in the largest one within 100 miles. However, Sartre is not satisfied. In order to occupy the plain, he must first establish a country as quickly as possible, so he needs to integrate all the surrounding gods. Tessis, I will give you 10 dark wolves. What you need to do is to occupy the entire northern desert as quickly as possible and establish a country. Can you do it? Tessis was a little dizzy at the shock of this question, which was something he didn't dare to think about before. Although he was accompanied by a demigod-level dark wolf, but one must know that the only demigod in the northern wilderness is not so easy to win. And it is said that there is a true asterisk in his backstage supporting him. Tessis knew that this was the first test Sartre gave him, and he had to complete it. You can do it, Your Majesty, don't worry. Tessis gritted his teeth and said to Sartre. Very good, don't worry. If there is a powerful asterisk that can't solve it, you can pray to me through the mark in your mind. I will sense it, and I will help you when that happens. Thank you, Your Majesty. Tessis bowed his head respectfully. Okay, you're ready to start now. Then he recruited 10 dark wolves and let him follow Tess more. Tessis retreated with the dark wolf, ready to start the expansion war. Soon, Tessis, through his statue, ordered the believers to prepare for war, leaving only a few guards. All the rest are assembled with weapons. Soon, more than 200 purple human soldiers gathered. Tessis showed his true body, and the believers immediately fell to their knees and worshipped the gods. My people, there has been a major breakthrough in the strength of this asterisk recently, so today. We are going to declare war on the ability gods who have invaded us and slaughtered our brothers and sisters before. Tessis raised his front paws and shouted loudly, I will lead you to victory, we will be invincible. Hearing this, the believers could not help shouting, invincible, invincible. After a while, when Tessis saw that the atmosphere was almost over, he shouted to them, set off. The group then set off in a mighty manner toward the nearest territory of other gods. It didn't take long for him to reach the outside of a village, but apparently the other party already knew about the invasion of Tessis. The village is already fully armed, and hundreds of people are fully armed, holding weapons and facing the outside. After all, Tessis didn't do anything to cover up. With 10 second-level dark wolves, he could already crush the vast majority of the gods in the northern wilderness. Thesis, why are you fighting against me? Look at the number of your soldiers. You have sent almost all of your troops. Aren't you afraid of other gods invading your territory? The opposite village walked out of a bare-headed man who believed in a god. The surrounding beliefs in gods basically know each other. Of course, as gods, they are inseparable from believers. So the relationship with each other is not very good. Humph. Bare-head god, don't be so nonsense. A month ago, my followers went hunting, but your followers took away the prey and injured people. I'm here to take revenge. Tessis, is there something wrong with you? Just for this, you must gather all your troops to attack me. Bare-headed god, as a god, I will never let my believers suffer in the slightest. Today I will make you pay the price. As he spoke, he shouted to his subordinates behind him, all preparations, take your weapons. Attack. You bastard, don't think I'm afraid of you, don't you just want to find an excuse to attack my territory? Come on, I saw the bare-headed asterisk shouting loudly. He mustered up his strength, the power of faith in his whole body ignited, and the body of the guards of the village was all lit up with red light. The believers of the bare-headed god saw that the front of the soldier looked like they had blood from chickens, and their eyes turned red. All roar, kill, kill. This is a necessary skill for believing in God, and it adds aura state to believers. Tessis will too, of course, if you ask him why it didn't work when Sartre attacked. That's because the difference in strength is too great, and he was killed in seconds before he had a chance to let it go. The bloodthirsty aura that the bare-head god adds to the soldiers will greatly increase the courage and attack power of the believers, but it will make people lose their minds. Tessis was not at all panic about this. If it was before, he would have paid more attention to it. But now, I looked at the wolves. Kill me the bare-head god, Tessis said to the dark wolf. Then, the wolves flew out and rushed towards the bare-headed god. When a group of guards saw this, they immediately came to block it, if it was normal. Maybe they still have some fear, but now, these soldiers have red eyes, only bloodthirsty desire, and have long lost the normal reason. But they were all just a man's arm as a chariot, and the soldiers who rushed over were directly torn to pieces. Seeing this, the bare-headed asterisk was frightened, but there was nothing he could do. He couldn't escape. Believing in God seemed noble, but he depended on believers to survive. Once the believer dies, his own divine power will disappear directly, and he will also fall. He wanted to surrender, but depending on the situation, Tessis was determined to kill him, so he could only do his best. Of course, desperately thinking too much, in front of a group of 2-level dark wolves, his first-level belief in God couldn't make any noise at all, and he was directly torn apart by the wolves. When the bare-head god died, the halo on his followers also disappeared. The sober believers saw the gods fall. Several fanatics cried out, "Respected God, I'm here to bury you." After speaking, he immediately picked up the weapon in his hand and smashed it at his head. This tragic atmosphere infected other believers, and several believers also cried and committed suicide. Tessis didn't stop them, and the first thing to occupy the territory of belief in God is to eliminate those fanatics. These believers are the favorite of believing in God, but also the most hated existence of other gods. They only recognize their own gods, and it is absolutely impossible for them to defect. Finally, following the suicide of those fanatics, the rest, Tessis, let all his followers take care of him. After collecting the spoils, leaving a dark wolf and a few people to look after the captives, they continued to set off. There is also a village in the bare-headed god's territory, and he wants to take it as soon as possible. Dividing the words into two parts, Sartre felt the entry of many souls here. One of the souls seems to be a little strange, as if there are some kind of rule fragments in it. This should be the soul of God. reading www.ukanshu.com. Although the level is only one level, the power of rules contained in it makes this soul no worse than the ordinary 3-level creature soul. When Sartre used the dark wolf to hunt in the wild plain, he discovered that as long as the beast killed by the dark wolf, even if he was not present, it would still absorb the soul of the prey. However, this ability can only be used by subordinates who have a contract with him. As soon as the recruited troops appear, they will directly enter into a military contract. Although it is not as harsh as the void contract, it is also destined that the troops cannot betray. Obviously, through the subordinates who signed the void contract, the plane cube can also absorb the soul. Sartre obviously sensed that the soul was absorbed from Tessis through the contract. And Sartre also sensed that the plane cube seems to like this kind of soul with the power of rules very much. It sends a message to Sartre that there are 1,000 more souls of such rank rules. You can give him a 6th-level exclusive arms lair. This information made Sartre very excited. The exclusive arm means the only arm. This kind of arms is not comparable to ordinary arms. In addition to being powerful, they generally possess special weapon skills. In addition, this is a 6th-level arm. Once you can recruit even a 6th-level exclusive arm, you will be safe. The strength of the 6th-level soldiers is not something that ordinary sublords can solve. This also makes Sartre more urgent to attack this plane. Fortunately, he chose to invade the plane, and this plane can be regarded as a good secondary plane with only these spirits. The sacrifice conditions offered by Will of the Void are so good that there is even an option for free teleportation. To know this kind of teleportation across planes, there is still no teleportation gate. The required resources can be said to be unaffordable for all